page here. Thank you very much. Humbled, truly humbled, and honored, and obviously as a victim of this just absolutely preventable crime, it needs to be stamped out. So thanks for your efforts, guys. I really appreciate it. So green in the market today. Dow's up 300 when I shoot this in the morning. Very interesting because one of the reasons the stock market rallied was because, as I said, Tuesday night, Wall Street was waiting to see, President Xi was giving a big speech. Was he going to be conciliatory and all this type of stuff? The initial reports where the guy was like, hey, I'm going to lower tariffs, can't we all get along, Rodney King-ish? That's not what the official word is coming out. So apparently they saw what the reaction was and said, yeah, that wasn't a concession speech, and no trade talks are taking place at all. So they're backpedaling a little bit on what allegedly he said. I don't speak Mandarin or Chinese or whatever the hell it is, but pretty interesting because Trump the next day said, hey, very thankful to President Xi's kind words on tariffs and automobile barriers. His official spokesmen are saying he didn't say any of that. So wondering when that's going to sink into the market. We've talked about China also just militarily growing like crazy. Their first aircraft carrier has deployed. It's at sea doing sea trials. They're putting military jamming equipment on the Spratly Islands. I've cruised past these on the Lincoln and the Kitty Hawk. So these dirt atolls that China brought dirt from China and dumped them all over and built runways and now military bases. So they've essentially doubled the size of their country. Thank you, Barack Hussein Obama. Now let's talk about the lunatic in chief. This guy, today's a hypocrite to me. For the longest time, he ripped Barack Hussein Obama a new one about timetables, right? Telegraphing to your enemy that you're going to do some military sort of action is just stupid, blah, 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 all his words. He's doing the same thing. He said, hey, Russia, missiles are coming, they're new, shiny, and, suck on this. He's been tweeting like nuts. And then today he comes out with hey, I never said we were going to hit Syria. It might be today, might be never, might be, in 10 minutes. Come on, man. And I get the White House is saying, well, he didn't give a timetable. Obama would give an exact date and stuff. It looks stupid. Shut up. Let the admirals, let the generals plan. Speak softly and carry a big stick is what we should be doing here. I think one of the reasons we're kind of holding fire is because we don't know exactly who the hell used the chemicals. Last week, Trump announced, hey, I want to pull all my troops out of Syria, and mysteriously, Syria, either Abbas troops dump chemical gas all over everybody, or do you think the rebels who don't want us to leave might have done it to their own people? I would not put that past anybody in the region. People are disgusting and they're mentally sick. So until we find out, France came out today and said we have absolute evidence that the Assad regime did it. But Germany came out and said, that might be the case, but we're not going to take part in any military action. So the threat, it seems like, based on his tweets today, are we're kind of lukewarm. So he's pretty, he was locked and loaded the other day. Now he's throttled back. So that's another reason the market's rallying. Weekly jobless claims hold below 300,000 for the longest streak on record. On record. That's insane. And of course, tune in to CNN or MSNBC. You're not going to see anything like that. Too busy with Stormy Daniels. So stocks are rebounding today after yesterday's sell-off. Tensions are still there, folks. Oil's catching a big bid. Volatility's coming in a little bit. Let's take a look at the VIX, our kind of market altimeter for what we're thinking. VIX is down about 5. Again, when you have a Dow up 300 points right now and the VIX is only down 5, this isn't. And it's hanging around that, what I said, the new resting heart rate, to 19 or 20. I don't expect this. I kind of think we have a mid-afternoon give some of this back. So we have a 47.5, 47 bull put spread in the weekly options service, and we're holding. It was actually lower than that, so this is actually looking pretty good. This is a hold through tomorrow. I mean, Trump might recognize he looks kind of stupid saying, I'm going to attack you, Russia, and Syria. It's just stupid, guys. The Syrians have already moved most of their airplanes to Russian bases on the border, Latvia, whatever the hell the name of the base is. They've already dispersed all the aircraft. Hey, saying you're going to bomb somebody gives them ample time to prepare. So now all the Syrian aircraft and personnel are snuggled up next to Russian jets. What are we going to do, kill Russians? It's stupid. But the reason I'm ranting about that is because in the blink of an eye, something can happen and vol is going to pop. So I'm going to hold on to that weekly options 47.5, 47 bull put spread. Why? Because volatility is back. Tesla, the biggest short in the stock market. It's comical. This guy yesterday on CNBC was really good, talking about how many cars they've promised to deliver over time and how many they've actually done. So when you see that something is the biggest short in the U.S. stock market, you have to be very careful jumping in and shorting that because you can get squeezed out of that and be broke in the blink of an eye. Oil near a 3-year high on geopolitical tensions, obviously potential military action in Syria. I think this will be a quick spike, though. I don't think we're gonna head up here. So at 1 o'clock in our Analyze Your Trade session, we have to talk about we have an Exxon Mobil position. I say iron condors are great until when? Until they're not. So if you take a look at Exxon Mobil here, 2 months we've been in this nice channel, and now we're doing a gentle climb schedule above it. So we'll talk about this at 1 o'clock and Analyze Your Trade with my members. Comical appearance out of Zuckerberg. The dude, he sat on a booster seat. He still doesn't know how to define hate speech, but he has 10,000 employees censoring it. And he's still, who is it, Diamond and Silk, the 2 African-American pro-Trump supporters that were deemed unsafe to the Facebook community. And a bunch of senators and congressmen brought this up to him. And he said, oh, yeah, we're on it and this and that. And, that was a mistake. They posted on Twitter today, we have not heard from anybody at Facebook. Our last communication was April 5th saying, you're done. This is not appealable. So apparently Zuck didn't do anything about this. It's over with for these tech CEOs. Jack Dorsey is a freak at Twitter. Zuckerberg. It's funny to watch CNBC and the financial media foam at the mouth about how good he did. I don't know what interview they watched. It was awful. The guy looked like a robot. Did you see him take that sip of water? People give Trump shit for like two-handing a... Google the clip of him sipping water. It looks like he was sipping water for the first time, or was worried that it would short circuit all of his circuitry there. The man was awful. 90% of his answers were, Senator, I don't know, and I'll have my team get back to you. Who's in command of this ship, man? There were so many, I don't know, or that's a good question, or I can't define hate speech. It was awful. So don't believe the liberal media here when they froth at the mouth about how good he did. If you're a human and you're not a computer and you watch that, you were squirming in your seat because it was awful. Anyway, I remain cautiously bullish, folks. I said we'd bounce off. I said we'd chop around the 50. We did. I said we'd bounce off this 200-day, and the next catalyst is to the upside, and we are. I think Q1 earnings are going to pull us out of these doldrums, and we're going to get trading back above the 50-day moving average, okay? All right, folks, I got to run. I got to get ready for our 1 o'clock Analyze Your Trade session, so have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for all the donations. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and I'll see you guys at 1 o'clock.